the United Nations University headquarters. Yes, education is one of those basic fundamentals that humans should all be freely offered across the world from the time of birth. The education should be the key to a better and much more sophisticated and self-sufficient and embracing world for us to all live. Yet, education is one of the most lacking across the entire world. As you can see, a United Nations educational headquarters, or the educational headquarters, is a grand facade with a great emphasis showing that education is one of those key instruments in upgrading and making a world a better place. Yet the institutions that governs and the teachers who are teaching the population or teaching the students need a set of education themselves to detach or disengage from the more institutional training programs and train the teachers to be creative thinkers or creative individuals, to include a syllabus to more inclusive and more open and more embracing way of teaching, rather than more excluding and more stringent as the institutions would wish to have their top elite or the students become. And we need to come up with methodologies and practicalities of educational syllabus rather than more excluding and more covered and less of every aspect of education should be. Now, having said all of that, I should say the United Nations is an instrument that is put in place to manage and control or govern the very few at the top and keep the information or the information of knowledge away from the creative individuals. Imagine the world that we could live if everyone is taught to become a problem solver rather than problem maker, as the United Nations and the world has created so far for us all. We have had experiments and experiences of our history being repeated over and over again. Very much said so. The building, the facade is one thing to show that there is some sort of an inclusive or receiving of a more circular educational method. Yet, when it comes down to the syllabus and the subjects, they're all very old. The language is pretty old. It's open to interpretation. As long as the language is open to interpretation, our method of teaching will always be the same. As I said, United Nations University, how far can it go? Well, how far can you think to be a creative individual and a human being rather than be a more reflective of this very building and become a reflection of the education that has been brought up inside this institution?